All right, guys. Well, it's that time again. We're done with another Sunday of play, and it's time to go through and review how things are going here in Diamond Mine Baseball in this 1949 replay. I know that it might seem a little bit wearisome for some people. I know it's not a video that's necessarily fit for everybody, but those of you who are interested in this might be interested to see how things are going, and might be interested in looking a couple things up and seeing where things are a bit different. In the interest of time, I'm actually not going to spend a lot of time looking at 1949 statistics. I figure you can look at those yourself. I'm also going to have this up on the blog, though it'll take a couple of months because there is a little lack of synchronization between the two because we have a lot of stuff to write about. So without any further ado, let's get on with it. We'll go over here to our screen view again. I know it's kind of small, hopefully because of the improved equipment. Now you can see it a little bit more clearly. It was a heck of a Sunday of games. I mean, you remember this one, the Yankees beating the Browns 21-10 after scoring 13 in the top of the ninth. That was exciting. What you didn't see on camera was the Pirates beating the Dodgers 4-1 in 10 innings in a game that the Dodgers had a 1-0 lead until Ralph Kiner hit a home run in the top of the eighth to tie it. That kind of gives you an idea of what happened. We then have two walk-offs in a row. The Braves walked off the Cardinals. The Phillies then walked off the Cubs. So we've had a lot of ninth and 10th inning magic here in this particular day. So I've talked about a lot before. The Giants are really beating up on the National League. 6.5 games out in front of the Pirates and 9.5 games out in front of the Dodgers. I'm not so sure that the Dodgers are going to come back. I've been saying that for a while now. I know that there are naysayers, but this Brooklyn Dodger team, as good as they were in real life, just are not showing the signs of having the bullpen that they need to compete. Meanwhile, the Giants have given up only 176 runs. The only team who's given up less is the Cleveland Indians, and they're a half game out of first place in the American League. American League looks as tight as ever with the Red Sox a half game in front of both the Indians and the Yankees. Yankees have their run margin up to 45 now, thanks in large part to that 13-run ninth inning. The Philadelphia Athletics then are 2 games out, and I thought going into this season that the combination of good OPS by the Athletics and their ability to turn double plays would give them a little bit of an unfair advantage. Looks like that has been proven true for the most part here. The bad teams, for the most part, are as bad in the replays that were in real life. I mean, the Cubs and the Senators are just simply awful. Technically, the Reds were a pretty bad team in real life. They haven't been that bad yet, but they are under 500. The Cardinals were quite good in real life. They're 13.5 games out of first place, and they keep losing. They've lost 3 in a row. How about that? The White Sox are bad. If you've ever played with the 49 White Sox, you know that. And, of course, the St. Louis Browns are bad. That should be no surprise to anybody. The surprise, I would say, of course, beside the New York Giants and the Pirates, who are still playing well, would have to be the Indians and the Athletics. Now, the Indians are the defending world champions, but they're playing a lot better in this replay than they played at this point in real life. And the Athletics, as I mentioned, probably are taking advantage of the fact that they're good at things that Diamond Mine Baseball likes. So with all that mumbo-jumbo out of the way, let's go look at the leaders, which is what people care about. Now, I know that there are other games out there that do a better job of this. As you can see, this is very small. I have to read this. There's no way for me to zoom in. Thank you very much, 1990s technology. It's a shame that we're not doing this in, say, like Action PC Baseball, because then you would have a really big thing up on the front page that has, like, the picture of the guy who's in first place and all this other stuff. So we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to cover mostly the traditional stats. I mean, we're not talking about WAR, and there's no expected anything here. Don't worry about any of that crap. Hey, Ralph Kiner is hitting 382, leading both leagues. We're looking at both leagues together. And doing so clearly. Behind him is Dom DiMaggio at 376 and Ted Williams at 367. I would not be surprised if Ralph Kiner won the batting title. He's also got the lead for slugging percentage with 827, which is far above and beyond anybody else. He's got a 495 on base percentage. Williams, Ted Williams that is a little bit higher with 514. Ralph Kiner is no joke. He's a great player in 1949. There's no question about that. He has scored 53 runs and driven in 42. He's close to the lead for RBIs, and he's in the lead for runs scored, and he's close to the lead for hits as well. Kiner has hit 22 home runs, which is 8 more than Roy Campanella, who's in second place with 14. He's hit 22 home runs. We're not even 50 games into the season, so that gives you an idea of what this has been like for him. This has been really, really impressive. I'm just glancing through here. Yeah, OPS, which is a stat I love for Ralph Kiner, is 1.322, which is like Barry Bonds 2001 territory, right? Absolutely ridiculous. And I think that's all we really need to look at there. We'll take a look here at the pitching leaders now. Again, we're looking at both leagues together, and we'll just look and see what comes up. ERA leader, as interestingly enough, Ed Lopat with the Yankees, who has a 1.51 ERA. There's Al Brazel, 1.65 for the Cardinals. Dutch Leonard then for the Cubs at 1.90. I saw him pitch earlier today. You didn't because I'm not filming every game. But some pretty good pitching going on from some pretty unusual sources. Monty Kennedy for the Giants is 8-1, and then his teammate Dave Costello, who we just saw earlier today, is 8-2. So there you are in terms of your wins leaders. And let's see if we have complete games on here somewhere, maybe on the next page. So we're not going to worry about that quite yet. Batting average against it's Ed Lopat at 1.187. Then Rex Barney and Ralph Branca, both Barney at 0.190 and Branca at 0.199. Interesting to see them up there because the rest of the Dodgers are not pitching well at all. Notice that Don Newcomb's not on there. Interesting to mention, and it's not just because he hasn't pitched enough games, it's because he's had a couple of problems here. Not many shutouts, by the way, but so it is. Here's complete games, and yeah, Dave Costello has 9 for the Giants, man. Followed then by Jansen and Sheldon Jones, both with 7 each, also for the Giants. Monty Kennedy also with 7. The Giants just don't use the bullpen. That's why they're winning all these games. Costello, by the way, has also thrown 93 innings, and I keep putting him out there because he keeps putting them away. So as long as he does that, we're going to keep using him. Looking through here quickly, I'm not seeing a whole lot of really interesting stuff to mention here. Maybe the on-base plus slugging against, again, it's Ed Lopat and then Dave Costello who are doing the best. Then Rex Barney. Rex Barney is interesting when he comes up there because he's not the one that you expect. Again, Newcomb is nowhere to be found here yet. He's had a little bit of trouble here in the early going this season. Now, you know that I love to look at team statistics, so we'll take a quick look at those team totals. And again, apologies, it's going to take a little while, but you'll be able to see the bigger pictures of all of this on the blog by and by once we get things to that point. There's only so much. Oh, this is the wrong thing. There's only so much that I can do here with this old DOS program, which is the problem that we have. Let's see. We want Major League Baseball. We want OPS. There we go. On base plus slugging. So the leaders in OPS are the Dodgers and the Athletics, no surprise there. However, the New York Giants are in 4th, which is a very interesting thing. The other interesting thing when we look at home runs, where are the Pirates? There they are. The Pirates have hit only 40 home runs as a team, 22 of which come from one guy. So as I said, it is like Babe Ruth in 1920. Secondary average or secondary numbers, there's not really too much to talk about here of interest unless you want to see if I'm bunting often enough or not. I'm certainly not doing enough intentional walks, that I know. The Dodgers have a 805 OPS, followed by the Athletics closely behind at 790. Now, the Giants are at 782, and this is not a Giants team that you think of as being very good with the bat. So pretty interesting, the stuff that's going on up here. The Dodgers are hitting well, but they're just not pitching well, and we'll take a look at that right away. We go look at the team pitching totals. We'll be able to see that. So again, we'll organize everything by OPS against, which you would think would be like the default, but apparently it's not, whatever. And here you go with the Giants, a 647 OPS against, better than the Cardinals, who were the best in real life, and by a considerable margin. And then who's next? The Philadelphia Athletics. So as I said, chances are that the Athletics will probably end up doing better than they did in real life. The Dodgers, by the way, have a 738 OPS against, which is exactly what the league average is, but average is going to give you about a 500 record, and they're on pace for about a 500 record. So that goes to show you how important it is to pitch well. In terms of other things here, yeah, I mean, the Giants are clearly leading the league in complete games. They have 32, far more than any other team, and there's no doubt about it. That's not just me either. Remember, I control the home team in all games. The computer manager is to blame for a lot of that as well. Looking through here to see if there's any other interesting thing to mention. Not really so much, except the fact that they only have given up 2 intentional walks. But when you're throwing shutouts all over the place, there's no need to worry too much about that. We can look at the whip, the walks plus hits and innings pitched almost correlates directly with OPS against, not quite, right? Because you'll see that the Reds are down here, but they have a little bit higher OPS against. I mean, this is all so close, it doesn't really matter that much anyway. But the Giants with a 1.26 whip, which is not bad at all, giving up just a little bit over a base runner per inning. Now, the final thing I like to look at, and you'll note this if you have watched these before, is I like to look at fielding. Especially, I like to look at double play totals. None of the other fielding stuff really interests me that much, right? Because, I mean, it's so context dependent, right? You're only going to create an error if you have a chance to commit an error. You know, we do care about making sure the fielding percentage is about right and the caught stealing percentage is about right. The only other thing I do care about, though, is double plays. The Philadelphia Athletics still have the lead in double plays. Remember, 1949 is when they set the record, the all-time record for most double plays defensively by any team in any season. However, they're not as far ahead as they should be. They're 3 ahead of the St. Louis Browns, who've come out of nowhere, and just 7 ahead of the Washington Senators. And what Washington is doing up there, I have no idea. So, I mean, you go figure that one out. Anyway, there you have it so far. It's been a pretty interesting season this far. I think if you look this up and compare it to real life stats, what you'll notice is that we're pretty close on to where we should be in real life. The teams that are in first place might not be the same, but that doesn't really matter, right? We don't play it to make sure the same teams win in the replay that won in real life. We play it to sort of reimagine and re-experience the season. That's why it's so much fun when we see the Giants with 101 more runs scored than allowed, and we start wondering if this is one of those great teams of all time. And there you have it. I will talk with you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.